over det. Og
about a tearjerker. That was beautiful. Thank you. Today we honor the life of what we refer to him as the man, Gerardo Ramos, or as we know Jerry. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone here for joining us today and celebrating the life of my dad. This road was a long road, especially in the past couple of years, in the past couple of months. But before I share anything, my mother and I would like to make sure that you all know that we would not have made it to this point without you. The love and support that we have received, whether it was coming to our rescue, helping clean our houses, getting us groceries, picking them off the floor, we wouldn't have made it. And we are forever grateful for your support and your contributions that you have made. And while we will forever miss him, he will still remain in our hearts. But it is so incredibly important that everybody knows that we are so grateful and we appreciate everything that everyone has done for us to be able to make it to this point. He was a man of few words. He had a chuckle, he had an infectious smile, and he had the most amazing one-liners. My mom and I would be talking and fussing and whatever, and he would just drop a line, and it was the ultimate mic drop. And it would just stop whatever we were fussing about. He loved his sports. When he was younger, he played many of them, and he was good at all of them. He taught me how to play softball, even came to my games. He loved music. He loved dancing. He enjoyed hosting pool parties. He enjoyed going to the beach. He loved to fish. We shared our lives together as the Three Musketeers. We went on vacations. We always did things together, Friday night dinners, we went to the movies, etc. But even at his most challenging times, he worried about his loved ones. He asked, we would share stories, we would share pictures of our loved ones with him so that he was always in the loop. He had many qualities and many characteristics, but one that I remember most is his patience, especially as he got older. You definitely have to have patience when my mom and I were together. So, somebody even asked him how he did that. So, and for those of you that are staying in my house, you full well know what that's like. He had enough patience to teach me how to fish. I learned to fish with a yo-yo before I could be graduated to a fishing rod. And he taught me how to play softball. Some little known facts about him. Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows he was a Marine. But he was a Vietnam veteran. He was boots on the ground. He fought in Vietnam from 1968 to 1969. And he earned himself a couple of medals. He was a rifleman sharpshooter. Still have his uniform in my house. He had a pet turtle named Horatio, after my father. My father's nickname in his early years was Horatio, and my dad loved my father so much, he named his pet turtle after him. We also had parakeets named after my grandparents because they bicker so much. You know. He loved to dance, and he loved to sing. Whenever we were in the car together, we would hear him humming along and whatever. Most times he didn't know a word. Or maybe he couldn't articulate them, you know, in his later years. But he loved to sing, didn't matter what it was. Love Shack by B-52 is one of his favorite songs. And we would always egg him on so he can sing because he loved that song. We would play it nice and loud for him. He often played paddleball. That was one of his favorite sports in his later years, even after his stroke. He used to go multiple times a week. And then moved down to 1 day a week. He had a friend that had a paddleball court on their property, and he would go. And he would come home late, 1 o'clock in the morning. And they would always look for him. They would call the house, let him know that the game was on. They would invite us. They were having a host gathering. And they even showed up for him at his birthday parties and stuff. And visited him when he was not at his best. To the left of his casket, there is a family photo. And while, yes, I'm biased, it is a beautiful family photo. Let me share this story about that. He played paddleball on a Wednesday like he normally went, and we had scheduled family photos on that Saturday. We had planned this for so long and talked about this for so long, and finally, we had a date. We had the outfit set and everything. Don't you know, this man comes home with a black eye. Of all the times that he has come home with bruises and whatever, he had to come home with a black eye days before our family photos. We were livid. But we made it work. We went to the photo place with some concealer, and he's a trooper, he doesn't care. You can't tell, I can tell, but he let me put some concealer on him so that we can continue with our family photos. I was not going to reschedule them. It was an act of Congress to get this together. He loved the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus. He loved to watch them on TV. My mom was occasionally jealous. But for all the things that he loved, most of all, what he loved was all of you. His village. And so again, I thank you for making the time and the effort and all of the support that you all have given us in any capacity. He is forever grateful, and we ask that you forever hold him in your hearts. Well, today will be the last day that we get an opportunity to physically see him. He will live on forever. So, at this time, I invite anyone who has something they'd like to share or a story they'd like to share about my dad. For those that are watching, his family members that could not come or other family members that could not come, no matter how small you may think that is, it would be a great deal for us to have that memory. So, please, without hesitation.
I had to be the first because I'm 64 and my memory is leaving me. I met Jerry way back in the 70s. Yvonne, my wife, her sister, was my girlfriend at the time. Before him, I met Moses. I had to get approval from Moses to be part of the family. It was disheartening to hear of the separation between Moses and Nancy for me. But I tell you what, Jerry made it easy. He had such a heart. Back then, I must have been 18 or 19. I got to know him as an athlete. We played football together. We played paddle together. There's so many things that we did together as an athlete. He was a good player back then. Yeah. There were times where I looked forward to being with him upstate New York, along with Nelson and Jerry, because they had an apartment up there. Nelson and I and Jerry, we'd love those times. We played paddle all day while Nelson's wife and Nancy were away. Of course, I miss my girlfriend Yvonne, but Nelson and Jerry loved those times. And we had such a great time playing paddle. He was a weird dancer, I have to say. He would do something with his fingers, and I'd say, what in the world is that guy doing? He loved disco dancing, and we danced together. And this was awesome to see him enjoy the music. It didn't make a difference to him. He enjoyed the music. He was always cheerful and happy, no matter come what may. I found even if he was losing at playing sports, it didn't matter. He was happy, always a joyful man. It wasn't until later, when eventually I married Yvonne, and that I got to find out he was a veteran. He never shared that during the early time. And he served in the war. I approached him about it. He did not want to talk about it. And I knew it hit somewhere in here, that part of his life. And I left it at that. He loved the idea that I served the Navy. But we connected big time. He loved people. It didn't matter who you were, what color you were, where you came from, but he loved people. And he was a lovable man, and you couldn't help but fall in love with Jerry. And I'm going to miss that about Jerry, because nothing could tick him off. Nothing. I saw him one time lose it with Nancy. He changed voices, and Nancy shut up. I never saw that. No one can shut Nancy up. But he was a little girl at the time. And Janelle, I remember Janelle back then was a little girl. She was precious to me. I loved hugging her and spoiling her. So I go way back with Jerry. I'd say 44 years or so. Me and Jerry. He loved fishing. I didn't like fishing. But I liked fishing with Jerry. I did not like fishing, but if Jerry was involved, I'm fishing. Because he made it fun. I remember the times we spent at the Keys with Yvette and Nelson. It was so great to be on the roof of the resort with Jerry, absorbing the sun. He loved the sun, so did I. And we looked forward to the beni at night, or the cooking at night. One of the great moments with Jerry. And he did have a sense of humor. He'd crack something up and you turn around and you just couldn't stop laughing. Oh, that came from Jerry. He was that way. He will be missed. It comes to a point where, in my life, where the people who are close to me are passing by. But I know in my heart that death is not the end. It's not. So Jerry, I will see him again. And I feel him in my heart. Those pictures, I don't know if you caught it, but I'm in those pictures with a big afro. That's it, right there, big afro. That's me. You see how young I looked there? I had a big afro, didn't have any gray hair on me, and Nelson could move around good. He was a good basketball player too, Nelson. But yeah, that was me. He loved Nancy's brother. We rumbled with each other. We wrestled each other. We get on furniture and just climb on top of each other. And it was just family. For me to be part of this family was tremendous. And Jerry fit in perfectly with us. He did. You know, went on vacations with him, enjoyed his pool parties, enjoyed him doing and loved watching sports with Jerry. I could never understand why he's a Pittsburgh fan. He never gave me the reason for that. I was a Pittsburgh fan. I was always a Giant fan, Yankee fan. Me and Nelson are Yankee fans. But Jerry, Pittsburgh. I couldn't get that. Maybe it was the color. I don't know. But he loved football. He loved sports. He was great at it, and I enjoyed being a man with him. He was quiet. Even the neighbors in his neighborhood couldn't help but fall in love with Jerry. Jerry moved down to Homestead because of me and my wife. We had a home there first. He was a veteran. He found out I took advantage of the veteran loan program, and Jerry followed suit, and he bought a home there. Every time I went to Jerry's home there, because they lived like 5 minutes from us, I do vaguely remember you. And he was surrounded with friends there, even then. And he loved Janelle. He took on Janelle's friends like nothing, and many years with Jerry. Many more to say, but because there's a lot of years, but I'll leave it to the rest of you guys. Great man.
It won't take long, because I know everyone has a lot to say. Jerry's sister-in-law. And like my husband said, he was an easygoing guy. And now you're upset by Jerry. It was about a decade ago that I went to get some, home decor picture, and I saw this shadow box. And it's still in my room on the wall. And the shadow box is a man facing with a fishing rod out on the beach. He has the same kind of outfit Jerry would wear, his Hawaiian shirts, his shorts, and his baseball cap. And I thought of Jerry. And I couldn't help it. I bought that, and I said, that's going to be in my room. Why? Because every time we went out with Jerry fishing, all I remember, he never caught a fish. I said, Jerry, where are the fish? They know they see you. They must be running away from, swimming away, Oh, they're there. And he goes on and I'm like, okay, you know your thing, because I certainly don't know anything about fishing. But he loved to relax, like my husband said, in the sun. And he loved the fellowship of those around him, including strangers around him he would end up talking to. He was just that type of guy, a people person. And yes, when you said he was concerned about family, I saw those concerns when he knew that there were things that were not right. And I saw it in his face. But there's one thing about Jerry. He never personally interfered. He let things work out on its own. And sometimes that's what you need the most. And And I love that about Jerry, that he was very, a happy-go-lucky person. He loved music like everyone else did. The last time that I saw him enjoy music, when he went to my son's birthday party, my son blasts the music so bad. But Jerry was there, and he was enjoying those moments. It was the time when he was having still difficulty walking around, and Jeanette was there with him. And he enjoyed it, being around other people who enjoy the same thing. So, yes, he is definitely going to be missed. He was a very much loved man. And it got harder for me to understand him when he had his stroke, and it was verbalizing things that I could. It was like a different language altogether. And since I have a hearing problem, it was just worse because I can't pick up a lot of things. And there's only those who lived with him that knew his way of expressions, to know his language. So it was difficult in the latter part to really communicate with him. But his eyes said a lot. He did show love with his eyes. And I thank God that he was there for my sister, because they seemed to get along so well. And she was very blessed, Nancy, because you had a man that truly loved you thick and thin. And I saw some of the worst sides with you together with him, but you and him, that was love. Love in the best way. He loved you. And it made me happy to see that you had a man that loved you, Nancy. It made you happy. And not only that, but you are so blessed with a wonderful father and a stepdad that became just as much a father to you. What a blessing. That relationship that you had on both sides of the family worked out so beautifully. To have two beautiful fathers loving you, you had it really good. Not many can say that. And he loved you dearly. And that I appreciate, that he was able to have that heart of gold. So that's what I wanted to share with you, how much I love that about Jerry.
He was the man. Every time he got me a card, Valentine's Day, anniversary, Christmas, birthday, didn't matter. He always signed it, the man. When we would give him a card, we would put on the envelope, to the man. Jerry and I, we got married June 29, 88. No, 30 was the second one. We went to Key West. And it was an ideal place for him. He had never been to Florida, and I'd been to Key West with Moses. And I knew this was an environment that he would love, because basically you go fishing. So we bought a condo, a timeshare. And one night, I was so tired from the day's event and everything, I went to bed. But he went fishing downstairs because they had a spot to go fishing. So then I decided, like maybe 2 in the morning or something, I'm going to go fishing. I mean, I really wasn't too much into fishing. So I'm yawning away, carrying my fishing rod. You catch anything? No, the bucket was empty. True. I throw my line. My line gets heavy. Oh no, I think I caught a rod. And the line is like shaking. I said, no, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. He go, pull it up, pull it up. I know I can't. It's too heavy, it's too heavy. Sucker was this long. And after he put it in the bucket, I said, okay, I'm going upstairs to sleep. There was another time we went to Spanish concert outdoor, my aunt somewhere. And we took my parents. So Jerry and my father all the way in the back. I'm in the front with my mom. And one of the artists singing was no timer, and he eventually asked for a request. So my mom's raising her hand, and he selects my mom. And the song was, in English, it says, "When We Are Old." It is such a beautiful song. Right, Magali? It's a beautiful song. Well, they were still in the back, and the artist sang to my mother. Looked at her, moved his arm, like he was dedicating the song to her. This tall guy next to me, the young guy, singing his heart out. Oh boy. I tap him on the shoulder and I go, he continues on. Tap him on the shoulder a little harder and please lower your voice. He's singing to my mother. And he still carries on, waving his arms. Now Jerry was not a fighter. He didn't go out looking for trouble. Considering that he lived and was raised in Spanish Harlem, he was not a troublemaker. He tapped the guy on the shoulder, and I looked. I said, Jerry, because he has a way of sneaking up. He whispered something in the guy's ear, and the guy was much taller than him. And the guy went, sorry. And he walked away. So we were able to hear the rest of the song. I was in total shock. I said, oh, my hero. I don't know what you said to him, and to this day I don't know. But he always became my hero after that. That was Jerry. Man. I don't want to say much, but you guys have said enough. Janelle, you did a beautiful job. Vito, Yvonne. You said everything that I could have said. He was a funny guy. He did love people, you know, and he was not a complainer. I never heard him say he had a headache. His back, only when he came home from Paddleboro, he was tired, and that was it. You know? And he will always be in my heart, my soulmate. Yeah, for him, I got it. All right. Like Gloria said, you can walk. Right, Gloria?
Great job, Dee.
As my aunt mentioned, after his stroke 25 years ago, he did have some trouble verbally expressing himself, and so he did buy us cards. That's how he let us know that how he felt, and he would underline certain words. We worked. I lived with them for a number of years before I moved on, and he took care of us. He was our domestic engineer. He cleaned parts of the house. He would sometimes cook dinner or take the meat out so that we can come home and do it. Trash out twice a week, things like that. Well, when his father was alive, we sent him to New York for 2 weeks, right? Spent time with his dad, who was aging, and then, so that meant that we were left in the house alone. And so you can imagine what kind of chaos that was. Did you feed the fish? No. Did you feed the fish? What day is the trash? Is today the day the trash goes out? We had no idea how to function because we were working, and things were just handled, and it was a comedic experience. My mom and I living as bachelorettes for the moment, and we understood that while the roles and the traditional roles in our home had changed, the value, the assets and the effort that he made to take care of his ladies. Another funny story is, and I wasn't there for this, but it is the absolute best. Sometimes they would get, my mom would get him like the Happy Meals or whatever from, fast food joints, and they have the little toys. But there was a toy that if you had like a button in the back and you put or lever, and the leg would go up. It was a little man, the leg would go up, and I don't know the purpose, I don't know anything, whatever. They would go to bed at night. She would take the toy, she would like kick him in the head with the toy. That was their thing. I think a couple days later, or however, whatever the time frame was, I wasn't living there at the time. She tells me that she comes home from work and she finds a string around the toy's neck, and the toy is hanging in the doorway, the entrance to the kitchen. Not a word, just there for her to see. This is what he felt.
That was his way of saying enough.
Anyway, that was, those are some of the memories that we have. Yes, sorry. No.
I'm not. Just gonna go back to the Steelers again. Go back to fishing, go back to the dancing party, because that's all Jerry was, really. Being his neighbor for 28 years, I think I knew Jerry pretty much inside out, really. We did a lot together. Just took care of fishing all the time, and I never needed to buy chum when I went fishing with Jerry, actually. You guys know what chum is? It's like when you mix the meat and everything else, try to roll. Jerry had a bad habit of throwing it up on the boat all the time. So there was really no need to buy too much chum, because he threw up every time we went out there, So, those are the good memories. We got stuck out there at 2 o'clock in the morning one time. I'll never forget that morning. And I'm like, God, it was me and King and Jerry. And we were stuck for about a good hour, like 5 miles offshore somewhere. We had no idea. And guess what? Jerry just kept throwing up the whole time we were out there again. Jerry, we're not fishing anymore. We're going back in. Don't worry, in a few hours. So, when I first moved there, they were already there. And we always help each other out no matter what we did together, whether it was just to cut the grass, what it was. Jerry was good at tearing up sprinklers, that's for sure. We changed sprinklers at least once a week, okay, for years, all right? So those are good moments that I recalled, and anything needs to get done around the house, Jerry was always there. If he wasn't able to do it, Nancy would call me for help. Please, can you help us out? And I was always there as much as I can, try to help my neighbors out a lot. That's what neighbors do for neighbors, And we had a good thing going on. And missed you guys already, by the way, since you've been gone. As we were saying. This man was such an active person. He was out there. The old station wagon he drove. How many years did he have that car, actually? Like forever and ever and ever. Jerry, are you going to get rid of the station wagon? No, that's my baby. And he had the Steelers tag right on the front. That was his favorite baby, So, well, you love, wrestling. That's another thing. You guys enjoy your little wrestling all the time, You really enjoy that, And, just remember him for who he was. And he'll always be Jerry to us, no matter what, And we'll see each other again one day. See you guys. And thanks everyone for, for most people that, for family that I haven't met before, thank you for everything, because this is just a wonderful family that I'm glad I'm still a part of, actually. Okay? Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I don't have a Jerry story. I never met him, but I know that daughter. It's Janelle. I'm Jocelyn O'Neill, and I'm president of the Greater Town Community Association. And she has become a very strong person for us. 2 dads, mom, you all have a wonderful, wonderful daughter. Whatever the impression was that Mr. Jerry gave her has been a lifetime experience. And we get to enjoy that now because she's become someone I depend on. And I just want to let you know that Ms. Tremaine was here. She had to leave. That Mr. Jerry did a great job. Mom, you did a great job. Father, wonderful seeds you planted.
Mom number two.
Mom number two. Mom number two. I just want to say I'm just really happy to be here and hear wonderful stories and to support Miss Janelle because she's a wonderful, wonderful person. It's from me and my husband and from the Greater Towers Community Association.
Thank you.
I'm Jason. Whoa. Nephew of my aunt, Dee Dee Nancy, and I can call him Uncle Jerry, of course. We went through a terrible storm, Hurricane Andrew, 1992. We went to see if Jerry stood behind Nancy's house in Homestead. And my heart sunk hearing my mom wail for his name. He was not there. The house was destroyed. Much like ours. It's about 9:30. But we were taken out of the town and we drove to upstate New York and stood with one of the most beautiful families together, Nelson and Yvette. And we had one of the most beautiful experiences of fall and cold while everything in Homestead was destroyed. I'm a big fan of America's might and military, so I joined. I was a reservist in the Army and had a part-time job with Home Depot. George W. Bush claimed weapons of mass destruction. My unit was activated. I was going to get ready for war. Home Depot threw a party. For me, I showed up in my Class A's. And my Uncle Jerry and Nancy showed up, and it caught me way off guard, and I got so emotionally attached. Long story short, we dodged a bullet. We were stationed, getting ready for war. We were instead reassigned to domestic duty. And during Operation Noble Eagle, I was assisting with transporting damaged vehicles with bullet holes to trains, commercial truckers off the seaport of Jacksonville, and became very familiar with the area. And then my dad called me and said, the Florida Marlins are wild card winners. I scrambled hard to get tickets to every game I could possible. And I was so jealous of my sergeants who had their cell phones while I was working, waiting in line to get World Series tickets. Talk about love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was my love for the Florida Marlins. They got tickets. I didn't. Because I was working. They were not. So I managed to purchase 9. Of course, secondhand tickets are quite expensive, but it turned out to be the best $900 spent in my life. I made sure Nancy and Jerry were a part of that.
and we went to a World Series game 2003, and we screamed our voices out for the love of baseball. The many fish tank seats, $2 seats we had before then, Florida Marlins, will always be in my heart because I got to share that with Jerry. Also a veteran of the Vietnam War, and I have so much respect for that. And it just, my heart goes out with great thanks for your support through my many adventure with the military. And because of that, I became a veteran as well, and a homeowner. And it wouldn't have been with the support of my family. Dee Nancy and Jerry, y'all were always my backbone. And even through the last months and years, I tried my very best to help out as much as I can. And we made it here. But thank you. Thank you so much for all the family joy and support. Jerry, you will always be remembered and saluted. And I officially say to everyone, thank you for your service.
My name is Rosa. I'm Jason's wife. And so Jason and I met like back in 2009. And I met Nancy and Jerry at the, it was the air show. I don't know if it was in August. I think it must have been somewhere like October or something. But it was an air show, and you know, they were sitting, Nancy and Jerry were sitting watching the planes going, and I remember Nancy looking at me and asking me, so how long have you guys been dating? And I was just telling this to Jason, I'm like, oh, 2 months. And I felt so embarrassed because, you know, it was like nothing. But thankfully, we've made it to like 16 years, 15 years together. And so I'm very blessed to have been part of, you know, have come into this family. And it was Nancy and Jerry, one of our, like the first time that we visited their house, that taught us how to play capicu. Because, you know, I'm Cuban and we play the double nines. And so we sat down together around the table. And, you know, Nancy made really good food for us, and both of them, they just loved capicu, and they made me love that. I don't know, I mean, I've never forgotten that, and every time I went by, I'm always talking to Nancy about, oh, capicu, what are we going to play? And Jerry was very good at it. Like, you know, I remember he was the one that won the game. You know, he had this piece, and he was the one that won it. So that was really cool. Another really nice memory that I have, we have a little a daughter, her name is Camelia, and we went to Renee's baby shower. Camelia was 7 months old, and so it was her first time meeting Jerry and meeting Nancy, and we were at the table, and then Jerry was missing like the front teeth, but he had such a he loved fun, you know, he loved having fun and comedy and being funny, and so he loved sticking his tongue out through his teeth to my daughter to make her laugh. And at the beginning, she was a little taken aback, but then she ended up loving him. And so, you know, like, she really wanted to come when we told her that Jerry had passed, but you know, obviously we left her behind. But that's kind of like, you know, she was remembering that because she loved his sense of humor, and I did too. And the times that we went, I didn't have the blessing of being able to spend too much time with him and with Titi Nancy, but the times that we did, when they came to our house, when they went to Yvonne's house, when we went to their house, he was always really easygoing. Exactly what you all have said, very easygoing, very patient man. Nancy is the one that's very, loud and active, but it's because he allowed her to be that way too. You know, he was like the backbone of the family. You know, like he was the calm, collected, you know, reliable support. And I don't know, that's just like the way that I always felt when they were around, you know. He didn't have to say much, but he was always there, always present, always kind and fun. And so I just really appreciate that. And I'm just really sad, obviously, that that he, we're not going to be able to see that, because I always feel like, the good ones, it just makes me so sad when the good ones go. But like my daddy-in-law said, this is not the end, and I really do look forward very much to continue enjoying his funny personality in heaven.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
You guys, I hate public speaking, but I'll do it for Jerry. My name is Renee. I am Nancy and Yvette and Yvonne's niece, and I met everyone later in life, but Nancy and Jerry really embraced me ever since I met them, and they've been at every important moment of my life since then, and I love going to their house, spending time with them, playing Yahtzee and eating and drinking and going in the pool and just everything. I just always felt so loved and welcomed, and they welcomed my husband and they loved my daughter. And even though we weren't together in the beginning of my life, I appreciate, and I tell you all the time, I appreciate both of you for stepping up and being in my life and being in my daughter's life, and for Janelle, who's my sister. And I am so sorry, but I am so happy that I came for Thanksgiving and saw him, and went to the hospital 2 weeks ago, and I said, Jerry, you gotta come out of here. Your wife's talking too much. And he started laughing. But that was him, and like everyone said, always in a good mood, always in good spirits, and just thank you, Jerry, for welcoming me with open arms. I love you guys.
I came up here to support her, and I did have something to say, but now I forgot what it was. Well, I do have a lifetime of stories that I can share, and in a moment I'll think of one. As his health changed, he continued to be a trooper. He was always ready to do what needed to be done. I spent many times picking him up, throwing him in my car, taking him to the doctor, and taking him to the VA and whatnot, and he was always whatever, like it's okay. And I would, while he didn't speak a whole lot, he understood. He was very astute. He knew, and so I would meet with the doctors, and he would be there, and we would, include him in the conversation, and he always relied on my mom and I to answer the questions, make all the tough decisions, and we would have family discussions, but he always, he trusted us implicitly, and ultimately trusted me, because I took over some, and, we're going to go to the doctor, okay, and, he would get dressed, and he never gave me any lip about it. Gave it to my mom, but I never got any lip about it. So, naturally, he's been through quite a bit, and, he never complained, like my mom said, and, he's been poked and prodded and scanned, and, he's gone through quite a bit, but even in his last moments, he was happy to see us when we visited. He was as alert as he could be. And, you know, we would tell him all kinds of stories, and I would tell him that, you know, he needed to come home because my mother was driving me crazy. And, you know, he was going to have my back. We'd be in the house fussing, my mother and I, about whatever. And we would look to him to be the tiebreaker, right? And he would almost always side with me, whatever it was. And he would just be like, yup. And so my mom would always walk around and, who needs enemies here? I don't need enemies. You know, I'm all alone here. Because he was always, you know, and she's so dramatic about it, right? She was just being her little 5'2" self, you know, strutting around the house and, you know, whatever. Just, you know, all open arms because, you know, he would take my side. He was part of the Clean Plate Club. You couldn't put a plate of food in front of him. He'd eat anything. Everything was good. Didn't matter. My mom and I have, you know, particular taste. I have particular taste, but nope, not Jerry. He ate whatever. And he loved green beans. So we would always make him green beans. He apparently didn't like broccoli anymore. Don't ask. You want to hear a story, ask my mom about broccoli, but after we leave. And he would hum as he ate if the food was good. He would hum. And so we would say, you like it, Jerry? It's good? And he would just be eating away. And that's how we knew. That was how he communicated, you know, with us. So we knew we did good. We would, you know, my mom and I, there were only three of us, and we loved to cook. And we would make a whole Thanksgiving spread just for 3 people. From the Food We Loved Food Network. And he never, you asked him what he wanted to eat. Food. Food. Or it had to be edible. That was it. Those were his only requests. Had to be food and it had to be edible. And, you know, but he hummed. He would sit there and, you know, we'd be watching TV or we would be in, you know, we almost never ate. We're very non-traditional people. We almost ate. Our dining room table was for us to play dominoes and Yahtzee and, you know, things like that. And so, we never really ate there, but, you know, he would hum as he ate. And Rosa mentioned dominoes. And my grandparents, Dr. Olivia, were excellent domino players. Okay? They were excellent. And my grandmother, who the three sisters hail from, my grandmother did not like to be seated playing after Jerry because he would make her pass. And if there was any other person that can get under my grandma's skin other than my grandfather, it was being seated after Jerry in a domino game. Because she was guaranteed to pass. It was a wrap for her. So we had a side seat, and you know, you play in teams and stuff and whatnot. And so my mom and Jerry always played together, and my grandma and grandpa played together. When I played, I just took up space for a while, but you know, it was still, it was still a great deal of fun because he was good. We played Yahtzee, and he was good at it. And Yahtzee is a game of luck with 5 dice. And he, you know, my mother's also a sore loser in that game.
Yes.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's true, you know. But he didn't care if he lost. It was just a game to him. You know, he played, you know, he was playing domino. He knew what you had. I mean, she did too. She's a very good domino player. But, you know, together as a team, they're deadly. So if you're going to play dominoes with them, just, you know, pack your feelings away because it's a wrap. But, so yeah, it was always fun to see my grandma in a tizzy if she had to sit after him because that wasn't happening. She was also another 5'0", dramatics, you know, with the flair and all that, and so that was always, it was always entertaining to watch. Anyway.
You know, when you mentioned about him eating, I just remember something that I always mock it when I was others, and I would tell Jerry, because he loves me, right? Jerry, you're Jerry. Like, you know, kind of like, you know, like, he got it. It's there. And he's like, then he goes, midnight snack. Yes. I swear, every time I see him here, I always think about that. Midnight snack, because he grew a beard long. He went to a phase when he grew a beard long, and no offense, it looks great as well, but and it's okay with him, but I just don't like long beards. And I kept thinking about what Jerry says about the food. Midnight snack.
Midnight snack.
That's a favorite.
Midnight snack.
Boom.
You know I was coming.
Did you just get here? Nothing but recording and listening?
I didn't do, but I think but I heard them say in the comments that I was at work. And then one of the residents said, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you're up, anyway, I'm going to take her to the back.
This is my sister, middle sister, since her husband Nelson. Alicia, my next door neighbor when we lived in Homestead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fine, that's wonderful. I told you was blessed.
89. My niece, my brother's daughter, her mother. My brother-in-law, Pete, the one that was walking the steps, my youngest sister's daughter.
I'm probably, no, I don't know.